Okay. In the last episode, I said we were partially we're done. We just need to address one or two issues. So let's look at the mobile responsiveness of this website or this page. So to see the mobile responsiveness, you can see it's good on laptop. So you just right click, inspect, come here. You can see train mobile. So on mobile devices, let's say 320 pixels, also up to tablet, that's 768 pixels. So how does it look like? So you can see how it looks. Then let's look at the one with it's also mobile responsive. So you can see on mobile device, this is how it's going to look. Not mobile responsive. This is not looking. Some parts are looking good, but you can see this. See how it looks like. So we have to make website mobile responsive so that it looks like this. Okay. So let's go into our VS Code to get this done. I'm going to call this mobile mobile style. So the first thing we're going to is, you remember what we did in our HTML? There is this sign there, this particular sign. If you look at the menu toggle, let me copy it. Go to our CSS search. And so we said it should display none. That was what it should display. So that's for large screen and for everything. So what we now do, there's something called media query. If you don't know about media query, I will advise you to read more. Okay. Let me just give you a little hint about the media. When you design by default, it affects all devices. Your laptop, your tablet, your phone. It gives everything the same design. But if you want specific designs for specific devices, want some designs for specific devices, that is when you can. So because we want our website to look a bit different on mobile, want to look a bit different on mobile devices. That is why we are using media query. You can use more than one media query in your CSS file. Okay, but for this, we only stick to. So if you look at this, you can see the difference. So we need to correct this to make it by the. So to write your media code, you start with AI is already correcting it. So I'll just go with the maximum width should be 760. I'm not. Why is AI trying? So this menu toggle, we say what it should display lock. We've hidden it before at the top here. At the top here, we said display none. But whenever it's on mobile, that's the maximum width 760. That toggle is display. Let's look at this. So now we can see the toggle. The toggle is what displaying now. Let's go back to it. What's the next thing do you think? Hmm. So next thing we can look at is the nav. Okay. So in our index.html, let's look at this is what nav. We only have one nav. That's why we need to use. Inside the nav, we have the home, categories, and so we are selecting this now style. First thing I'm going to do, I will say it should display none. So it's only when you toggle it that it should display. But for now, you can see everything is gone. So if you look at this, looking almost the same. Let's go back. Um, okay, so that's for that. Then let's look at. I'll still come back to this toggle. Let's look at this. Find the best event professional. How does this one? You can see find the best. It's not looking good on mobile device. So we need to correct this particular one. Right? So let's correct this. Find it. We'll just reduce the font size. Let's reduce the font size. Where is it here? Look at it. So we have find the best event. That's H1. And just hero. Let's reduce hero H1. And just say that's a hero font size. Let's reduce it to REM. Here we use 3 REM. Here we have reduced it to 2 REM. How does it? Okay, it's looking good. Find the best of. The next thing we have to look at is this image instead. On desktop, laptop, you can see it's looking good. They're side like this. They're what side by side. But when it gets to mobile, putting them side by side doesn't look right. So we can make use of our make this look how this is. You have the image love them. We have to try to bring this under this so we can use our grid property to achieve that. So easily um can say dot hero the grid terms the one fraction. So when you say one fraction, that means that there will be each of the elements inside this is going to take the full page. So look at it. This is the class hero. So it means that this particular div will take the whole width. This one also will take the whole width. So that's how it's going to stack each other. That's inside this media query. Let's look at it. What do we have here? Refresh. Let's come down. And see, we have that now. Very, very nice. So you stack it over each other. Then let's okay, all these ones. Up, up. There's a little problem here. I think it's the same thing as what we just finished. You can see this image and this. Let's look at sample. You can see our sample. The image is at the top, while this one. So we need to apply the same style we apply to the hero. So let's come down here and see for the single page. This is the single page. How many elements do we have inside? We have two elements inside. So once we select this single, so instead of creating another one down here, writing this, Okay. We can just use combined selector. So now let's go back. Fresh. Done. So as simple as that. This has been okay. So this is fine now. All the pages, everything. So it will make just one thing. When you click this, you can see what happens. Displayed here. Menus, navigation bars, displayed everything. But look at this. When you what happens? Nothing happens. Even though I haven't taught you JavaScript, we are going to make use of little JavaScript here. Going to make use of. Don't bother if you don't know it. It's just a simple one. And I won't be creating any file for it. I'll just put it text.html or write your script. So all the code will be inside this. AI is smart. I don't need to stress myself. I'll just leave it. So what this does, this is const, call it constant. Don't let me stress you about all this. I'll just say document or get element by ID. Select the menu toggle, and this one selects the. So whenever you click on the menu toggle, what happens? It's going to select a class called active toggle. Okay. So for this active work, we need to select it. Okay. So we need to select this. Come here. So let me. So I'll say now dot active, so that any active that is attached to work for it. It doesn't have to be, so that this doesn't work for every active. So this is just for article. So I'll just say display block. That's it. So let's check. What do we have here? Fresh. When you click on it, what happens? Okay, that's it. When you click on it, what happens? It shows. No, that's the function of the toggle. When you toggle, it becomes active and inactive. That's the function. It has the class active. When you toggle again, it removes the class active. So it removes the active. That's the class active. So you can see how this guy is showing it. So we need to style this menu, make it like this. You can see how we need to go back to our code. That's our CSS. Make some changes. Yeah. There are some things that I haven't taught you before. Probably wider. Hmm. So the first thing I want to do, I'll go back to this. There's something called position absolute. So when you assign a property and a value absolute, it can help you move your element to anywhere you want. Okay. I said, okay, now top. I'll say top should be. Okay, we can still leave it at 60. We can play around. And I'll say left 0. So because what I'm saying left to, I want it to be attached to the left side. That means space between uh, this element, this nav element, and this border should be. And for the top, it should be far away from the top, 60 pixels. So let's refresh this one. Click on. You can see this is attached to the border, even though we still had some padding to shift it. And this one hasn't, not yet horizontal. It's still what? It's not yet. This is vertical. Why this one is still change it to vertical. Still keep on. Um, yeah, let's add something. We can say the width 100%. That means you take the entire width. Background color. Here is small. So I can say the padding should be 20 pixels. This means 20 pixels top and bottom. 5% fresh. Check this. You can see the padding has given it a padding. So that's nice. And I think the background color is there. You can see the background color of this one is what else? Okay, let's stack it vertical. Stack it vertically. We are going to select the URL. So I can say flex direction should be column, gap should be as of fresh. You can see. So that's it here. It's at the center. We can align the item. Remember when we were doing align item, make use of the align items, align it to the center. So by default, center. From here, the uh, align item. You can say flex end if I want. If I say flex end, what happens? Comes, but we want it to by the left. Go back. Instead of say flex end, fresh. Toggle it again. It's at the left side. Very simple. Can you see that? So it's at the left side. I think this is looking. So I think this is. There's still something. You can see when I okay. Let me. When I scroll, what happens? We still have the menu up here. Here, when I scroll, the menu is gone. So how do we make the menu stay at? That's what we have to do. How do we? This is what we're going to do. So we have to go to header. Let's come. Let's, so this is the menu. This is the parent element header. So we're going to select this. Already selected header before. Let's search for. So now header, what we have to do is use the property positioning. So this time around, say it should be sticky. Okay, I want it to be sticky up. So there is no space between. So I'll just say tops 0. I will just think Z in there. Might not see the effect of Z in there. Or I will explain what it does. On higher value. You can even give it 1. So the Z index, there are times that when you make use of this position, what happens is that the content beneath it is going to over it's going to stack over. That is why we added heading to now. So let's refresh. Let's scroll. You can see it has maintained that position. It will always be sticky, stay at the top, just like. And this is the end of our class for. Thank you. You know, if you need more information, want to build a website,